y'all. Okay, so I did a video the other day, when God promotes, no one can demote, right? And I know some of you guys are like, well, Dee, I haven't even been promoted yet. I haven't even been promoted. When will my promotion occur? When will it happen for me? I don't know. I don't know. But we can talk about what we can do until the promotion occurs, okay? Until the promotion occurs. So you got to stand in faith. You know, you got to stand in faith. And I know you guys are like, see, I've been standing in faith. I really have. I've been doing everything I'm supposed to do, and it's still not happening for me. It is still not happening, for me. Y'all, you got to stand in faith. You got to stand in faith. You just got to believe that it's going to happen. So I have a few key points that we can talk about here. Obedience precedes promotion. That's the first thing. Obedience precedes promotion. God rewards faithfulness. Just as Joseph remained committed to God despite trials, staying obedient in your current season sets you up for what's next. You got to stay obedient. You got to stay in the midst of what's going on. And sometimes what's going on does not feel good, but it is just preparation for elevation. Preparation for elevation. And I think if you think back on some other encounters that you've experienced, you've seen where you had to wait. You had to wait. Because why? God was building up your character. He was building up your spiritual muscles so you can lift. You can lift those heavy burdens. So you won't feel attacked when people come up against you. Because when you get promoted, you are going to have people to come up against you because now you're on a totally different level. Don't think you're going to get promoted and you're just going to be all pretty and all calm, cool, collected. No, you're going to have some challenges in your new season. That's why in this season, you got to stay faithful. You got to stay faithful in this season before the promotion occurs. It's just getting you ready. You're in boot camp. It's just getting you ready, okay? Faith and patience in the waiting season. Faith and patience in the waiting seasons. You have to have patience. You got to have patience, and you got to continue to believe. What we talked about earlier today. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. You got to believe that there is no lack. Same thing with waiting for a job opportunity, a career opportunity, or whatever you might be waiting for. It may not just be a job. It could be a home. It could be a spouse. It could be married folks. You could be waiting on children. You're patiently waiting. You've been trying to have this bundle of joy and it hasn't happened for you. Hold on to your faith. Hold on to your faith. It will happen. You're going to hear those baby cries in the middle of the night. You're going to hear those little feet, moving around. It's going to happen for you, but you got to believe. You got to believe. You're just in your waiting season. So while you're in your waiting season, start preparing for the birth of your baby. I don't know who that's for, but just start preparing for the birth of your baby. Diligence in the small things. Diligence in the small things leads to bigger opportunities. So if we are faithful over the small things we have, we're not going to have a problem when God blesses us with the big things. Because you show yourself to be accountable, capable of handling small tasks. So you're not going to get all showboat. You're not going to start thinking you're better than somebody else because you get a nicer home or a nicer car or you get promoted. No. Just as easy as you go up, he can bring you right back down. He can bring you right back down. That's why I don't understand when people start feeling themselves, You start thinking you're better than somebody else because you've been elevated. No, you're just showing that you're not really ready. You're not really ready. And sometimes God will still bless us even when we're not ready. He will prematurely give us some things, and we can flunk that test, and guess what? We'll have to start all the way back to kindergarten. Remember going to kindergarten? Yeah, you got to get back in the kindergarten line. Then you got to go to what? First grade, second grade, third grade, on and on and on. Sometimes he will push you ahead of the line and start you at college level. And you're only a 10th grader, But then you show who you really are, which he already knows. But sometimes it's just a test. It's just a test to see how you're going to act when you get that, whenever you get that blessing. You might get this huge financial blessing, and then you just go and throw it away. You just throw it away. You just go to the casino and you just throw all your money away, all your hard earnings. You just start throwing it away. It's just going down the drain, And you work so hard, so diligent for it, and then here you go, acting like you have no common sense, and it's all gone. You hear stories about this. Well, people have actually won the lottery and they're broke a year later. Why? They had no wisdom, no discernment. They didn't even try to take a course on finances. They didn't go and sit with someone who's more experienced than they are when it comes to money matters. You just went out there and you just started making it rain. You just started, here you go, here you go, here you go. And you're back at square one. No. We got to show ourselves faithful. We got to show that we have more wisdom. We got to show that we're mature and we're actually ready for the promotion. We are actually ready to be promoted. So stay rooted in prayer and the word. Stay rooted in prayer and the word. When God elevates you, don't forget, he did it. You didn't do it. He did it. Your friends didn't do it. He did it. The manager didn't do it. Who did it? God did it. God did it. He gets all the glory. So never forget. So stay rooted. Cultivate excellence where you are. Show up with integrity and diligence. No matter the current assignment, stick to it. Show some tenacity. Show that you're going to be all about finishing what you started. That can be kind of hard sometimes. We're so excited about an assignment and we get into it and then we start having some challenges and then we start saying, this might not really be for me. This might not be for me after all. No, it is for you. But you got to go through some of the dirt. You got to go through some of the grit. You got to go through some of the fire. That is part of life. That is part of elevation. Everything isn't just going to be handed to you on a platter. It's just not going to happen. You're just not going to get it on a platter. You got to go for it. You got to work for it. All of these people telling y'all stuff that's easy, they lying. I'm not saying life is hard, but life definitely is not easy. And I know sometimes, you get kind of antsy, be like, oh, this is going to be so hard. I don't know if I'm going to. No, I'm not saying, I don't want you to think that, but I want you to go in with realistic expectations, not thinking that everything is going to be easy. Everything isn't going to be complicated either, but go in with the realistic mindset is what I'm saying to you. Go in with the realistic mindset. Prepare for what you're praying for. Prepare for what you're praying for. If you're praying for a husband, start preparing to be a wife. You need to figure out what a wife looks like. What is your example of a wife? You're praying for a husband. So hey, what does a wife look like? Men, you're praying for a wife. What does a husband look like? What are the characteristics of a good husband? So start getting around people that you feel like have good marriages and start talking to them. Nobody has a perfect marriage, but there are some people out there who can talk to you about that. I think I said something backwards, but you guys know what I'm talking about. Okay, you're talking about you want to be a homeowner. What does it take to be a homeowner? Maintenance. You know, you got to pay your mortgage. You're going to have other bills. What does it take to be a homeowner? You know, you got to have an emergency savings. Same thing with the car. You're talking about having children. What is it going to take? You got to start preparing for these things. So when it shows up, you're not going to be 100% ready, but at least you're going to be somewhere up in there that you have a better chance at winning. You're trying to become a project manager on your job. What are the key elements of a project manager? What are the key elements of a tester? A key elements of a business analyst? You're talking about you want to be a VP. What does that look like? Have you spoken to other VPs? You want to be a business owner. Prepare for what you are praying for. Prepare for what you are praying for. You know, are you truly ready for what you're praying for? Or is God using this season to prepare you? Are you truly ready for what you're praying for? Or is God using this season to prepare you? How can you better steward your current position so that you are prepared for the next one? What are some things that you can be working on to get you set, get you ready? Some of you guys want to be designers. You want to be creators. What are you doing? What are you doing to make it happen? What are you doing? You know, we got to understand God is always working behind the scenes. Give God something to work with. Give him something to work with. Stop just putting everything, you know, God's going to do it. God's going to do it. And God will do it. But give God something to work with. Okay? All right, guys. Let's not make this more complicated than what it has to be. All right. Until next time, continue to grow and glow in the Lord. Bye.